Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started here in a few minutes. But while we're waiting for the room to fill up, like many of our Washington Week webinars so far, we asked those attending if you could put in the chat if this is your first Washington Week, your second, your third, and what school are you from? You can add that in there while we wait for a few more to come in. So Kimmy Sims says her first. Kevin, so glad to see that you'll be at Washington Week. Wow, you really popping in. Well, Faisal, it looks like we have a lot of new people coming, which is great. Just as a reminder before we start, if you know of anyone or if you yourself have not yet registered for Washington Week, and I'll add those links into the chat here in a minute, but please make sure you're registered. We are at capacity for the lunch on Tuesday, but there is a wait list going on for that. So just let you know. And the deadline for registration will be Wednesday evening at midnight. You have to make sure you all have your nice little tags printed out and ready to go for when you get here on Monday. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We have some friends of ours joining today. So we're going to go ahead and get them kicked off here in a minute. But I just want to reiterate, I think sometimes we need to get grounded into what is Washington Week? Why are we doing this? So I went ahead and put up the mission for most part for Washington Week. And it's really to have this annual advocacy event to bring all the chapter members here to DC and have your voices heard on Capitol Hill. Faisal and I do this day in, day out, but often they want to hear from you. They want to hear your lived experience of what's going back in their districts or in their states. They want to know how things are affecting you, or maybe best practices that are going on that they can find ways to support and maybe build out on a national framework. So Dallas, I had seen you were in the chat and in the room. We are going to have you start off with, if you don't mind.
No pressure.
We have a lot to cover today, and I don't think
you have a lot to cover.
All that. Yeah,
well, that's perfect.
So
well, thank you so much for having me. Hello to all the student veterans in the chat. I'm so excited to have you all here in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill with us next week. This is the second or third year Hill Vets will be participating in Washington Week, and I'll tell you, it's a really special experience. Your voice matters. Your lived narrative matters. And I think it's really important for you all to get to interface with legislators who care about your stories and who care about the things that you have experienced through your service. And they really do want to hear your stories. They want to hear your perspective. So I'm so excited to meet you all. I am the Director of Programs for the Hill Vets Foundation. Hill Vets is a non-for-profit here on Capitol Hill with the focus of creating pathways for veterans and spouses and survivors to gain access to influential roles on the Hill, in the legislature, in politics, policy, and government, which I know is of such interest to you all. So I want to share with you the very special opportunity that we have for student veterans as you all wrap up these degrees that you have worked so hard on, and you think about the next steps, and you've got that desire to continue serving, and you've worked on degrees that maybe have taught you policy, advocacy, business, and wonder, how do I apply those things? How do I get to DC, and how do I make a career out of this advocacy that I've loved being a part of so much during Washington Week? Well, I am here to tell you that the Hillvets Foundation is here for you. We are built exactly for that question, and that is to make sure that there are opportunities for you all. So we run a congressional fellowship program. And in order to participate in that fellowship program, you do need to have finished a bachelor's degree, and you can be anywhere in the country and move to Washington, D.C., where we provide housing here on Capitol Hill. So beautiful, renovated home right on the hill, walkable from the House and Senate buildings, a house where many other veterans live. So instant camaraderie, instant friendship. We can house you in our Hill Vets house, and we want to help you set up a fellowship in a congressional office. So a little bit about the way that that works is, different than some fellowship programs, Hill Vets is really designed to make the experience really intentional and personalized for the veteran coming here to DC. So you won't ever be assigned an office to work in. We're going to work with you directly and identify the things that are important to you. We're going to identify the policy that you're passionate about. We're going to identify the experience that you have and how that relates to an impact in policy. And through that, we are going to create a list of members of Congress and the committees that you're really excited about working on. And it's really personal and it's really special. This is the magic of our program. You may be from Texas and you may be set on working for a senator from Texas. We can make that happen. You may have a grandmother that is from Michigan and still owns property there. And it's really important for you to work for a member of Congress that represents that specific area. We can make that happen. So the idea behind our fellowship is to place an individual in a congressional office for them to get really substantive policy exposure for the course of about 6 months is the average. So our fellowship program runs from 4 to 8 months, generally speaking, again, with the average being about 6 months in time frame. And during that time, you are in an office setting with the member of Congress, with their staff. You're getting a peek behind the curtain, if you will, on how things work and how things are run. And you also get to bring your lived experience to the table as those conversations are being had. Our Congressional Fellowship Program is designed as a pathway to employment. So unlike some others, our fellowship isn't experiential in nature. We want to give you the opportunity of this fellowship, and we want to work closely with you to be able to launch a career on Capitol Hill when the fellowship is finished. So the majority of our fellows last year ended up in full-time employment on Capitol Hill or in adjacent work in the policy ecosystem. So that might be as a staff member on the Hill, that might be in an outside organization like the VFW, the American Legion, SVA, lots of incredible organizations out there doing the work that you might end up working for as you launch your career in this policy ecosystem. So I'd love to take questions from you all. We will have our Hill Vets team participating in everything next week, and so excited to meet you and figure out what it is that you're passionate about and what you all are excited to do once you finish these degrees and launch your career. Thank you all for your service, and I can't wait to meet you.
Thank you, Dallas. Just a real quick, while we have some hands get raised for any questions, can you quickly talk about the Hill Vets LEAD program?
I'd love to. So in addition to our Congressional Fellowship, HillVets also runs the HillVet LEAD program. LEAD is an acronym for Leadership, Ethics, Advocacy, and the Dedication to Improvement. And that is a group of mid to senior level professionals. They're extremely competitive. We get hundreds of applications, and we select 20 people every year, running from January until December. So we run a full year program with them. And the idea with our LEAD program is really resourcing the leaders of our community and getting them what they need, getting them exposure to new networks, helping them learn how to build out their networks, putting them in environments and spaces that they may not be invited to otherwise, that are really important to have the veteran and military connected voice represented. And spending a year with them, showing them really beyond the worlds that they exist in, what else is out there and how they can further make their impact. So that's a year-long program, and that is for those living in the National Capital Region, and those applications open on Veterans Day every year.
Great, thank you so much. Anybody have any questions for Dallas? I'm not seeing any hands right now. I don't see anything in the chat, but oh, Gage.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was wondering if there was potentially any assistance in housing outside of the fellowship home. I wasn't sure if we were open to bringing spouses with us during this program, at least the ones that can work remotely. But have you had any example like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you for asking that, because it's important to note that not everyone can live in a house with 8 to 10 other individuals, right? You might have a mortgage or a dog or a spouse or all the things that would limit living in that kind of co-living environment. So we do open the fellowship eligibility to those who are living out in the community. We do offer a small stipend gauge that tries to offset the costs of things here in the National Capital Region. And, you know, we could work with you directly if you wanted to relocate with a spouse and you were interested in the fellowship program. That's certainly a conversation that we can have. Everything that we do is designed to be a resource for the veterans who are interested in using their voice on Capitol Hill.
Thank you so much for that answer. I appreciate it.
Great. And I think I saw Chris.
That question was already answered.
Okay, great. Well, again, Dallas, thank you so much for being with us virtually today. And we look forward to seeing you and the team next week.
Thank you all so much. I'll see you soon.
Thanks. Give me just 1 second to move things around. Faisal, is there other guests on here, or should we go ahead and continue?
Yes, ma'am. Lindsay's here.
Oh, great. All right.
Hello.
Well, good afternoon, Lindsay. So I know Faisal has himself all ready to intro you.
Okay.
Hi, welcome, Lindsay. Today we have Stars of Valor here to chat, and Lindsay, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really thankful to be talking to such a lovely group of amazing group, I'll say, of people associated with one of my favorite organizations in the military and veteran space. I have known about Student Veterans of America for, 11 years at this point, and I was even in Student Veterans of America when I got out of the Army and was finishing up my bachelor's degree. And so I'll just start off by saying broadly, before diving in, about Stars of Valor Fellows. They contribute to governance, they contribute to oversight, and they contribute to constituent services, and they help senators and their staffs carry out their constitutional responsibilities. And so that's a pretty big deal. The work directly supports the public interest, and that's a hallmark of public service. So you'll hear me talk a lot about public service, which I'm sure a lot of you are very interested in. And so, as they said, I'm Lindsay Brand. A little over 2.5 years ago, I was recruited by the United States Senate Sergeant at Arms, which a lot of people don't know is a faction of the Senate. It's a support faction. We're a 1,000-person faction or organization in the Senate. We're all behind the scenes folks. And so I got recruited by the Sergeant at Arms to build and manage what is now known to be the Stars of Valor Fellowships program. So when I got recruited, I had been working on the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee for over 5 years. I was a professional staff member, and I wrote policies that govern the VA, specifically focused on benefits, transition, and toxic exposure. I was actually one of the lead staffers for the PACT Act, which I know a lot of you have probably heard about. So before that, I was a fellow in the sister program, the Stars of Valor sister program. It was then known as the Wounded Warrior Fellowship Program. And before that, another lifetime ago at this point, I was also an active duty Army intelligence analyst and a jump master. I was in for 12 years with over 4 years in Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. So now I'll jump into the program. So it's new. We launched it in October of 2024. There's never been anything like it in the United States Senate, which is really something. The program was established through 3 Senate resolutions named after Senators McCain and Mansfield, who were known for their principled leadership and cross-party collaboration. The resolutions were also named after Sergeant First Class Sean Cooley and Specialist Chris Horton, whose legacy reflects resilience, honor, and sacrifice that are carried on by the folks who are lucky enough to make it into the fellowship. And so now I'll point to the slide that you all see in front of you. And so I'll talk more broadly again. The goal of the program is for Senate offices in Washington, D.C., as well as across the United States of America, to benefit from a fellow's service, sacrifice, and resilience. And so that kind of points to the 3 pathways, which are listed here on the slide. So wounded or disabled veterans, Gold Star families, and active duty military spouses. So with regards to eligibility, one thing I'll note here on the slide, I've generally listed some criteria here, but invite all of you to visit our website that I saw Tammy put into the chat to see a complete list. Or you can use our pre-qualified tool. It's a big red button at the top of our website to see if you're eligible. I'll also mention here this should be referred to as an entry-level position, and for that, a college degree is not required to apply, which I assume is good news to most of you on the call, since you're likely finishing your degrees as we speak. So, however, what I will say with that is that applicants must complete a United States Capitol Police background check. It was actually an interesting tidbit of information, knowing that I had been in the Senate for a long time, but then when I moved over, I had to do a background check. I was like, okay. Anyway, a final note on this, I always like to mention how fellowships are intended or supposed to be an experience, an opportunity for mentorship, advanced learning, to figure out if this is something that you think that you might be interested in. It's a really great opportunity and a safe space to learn whether or not you're interested in government service, and then in this instance, specifically in the United States Senate. So I've also listed on this slide some of the benefits that fellows will acquire while they're employed with the fellowship. And so I'll note it is paid. and it's for 2 years, and it's full-time employment, so 40 hours a week. And this is in locations across the country, and we do provide federal employee health benefits. But most exciting is the access to the legislative process. At least for me, I'm a nerd. I'm really excited that today is the State of the Union. So you get a front row seat to things like that, as well as Senate operations and networking opportunities. With regards to assigned work, it is different in every single office. But some of the common job duties I've got here on the slide, so you could do constituent services work, and that involves doing casework. Casework means like there's a program and people can write in, constituents can write in to their members of Congress and talk about any issue that they're having with a federal agency, and you can help them resolve their issue. And sometimes it can mean getting them money that's owed to them, or finalization of a case, or there's lots of different things that can mean. You could also be a liaison for local veteran service organizations, and so that could include going to events, attending events on behalf of a senator, or you can support the office's legislative team. That can involve helping sculpt policies that can impact the military population for generations to come. I'll note here as well that the fellow does not have to be assigned work related to military or veterans. And so if you are interested in pursuing a different pathway, health policy, international policy, things like that, that's open as well. So I think, you're always supposed to come to a congressional meeting with an ask. And so I think my ask here is that if any of you aren't interested in yourself, or if you think that you might know somebody, please share what you retain about this program with folks. As I said, we're new, so we're still trying to get information out there about an amazing, incredible opportunity here in the Senate. And so please share our website. And then military connected, I don't know if you all hear this enough, but something I always like to talk to fellows about is how people in the military and veteran connected community have so many valuable traits to offer any organization, such as discipline, work ethic, resilience, courage, deep sense of what it feels like for sacrifice. And so in case you haven't heard that in recent history, my hope is that that sticks with you. You have a lot to bring to really anybody, any organization. And I'll just kind of add on to that by saying, military connected individuals are uniquely prepared to excel in a variety of different sectors. And we would be lucky to have people like you to apply for Stars of Valor. So again, even if you're not eligible, if you know somebody who is, please share and help us advertise and get the word out. Next slide, please. So now, and finally, I promise I'll stop talking. This is just a snapshot of presence across the country. So from Washington State to Washington, D.C., Stars of Valor Fellows are assigned to positions including casework and outreach specialists, legislative assistants, and even a field director. So again, this is a visual depiction of Stars of Valor presence. So we've got 15 assigned, and then we're actively recruiting for 15 other offices in various stages of recruitment across the country. So that's what I've got to say about Stars of Valor. I'm happy to open it up for questions.
Thank you, Lindsay. Yep, looking to see if anybody got any raised hands. We got Alejandro.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my name is Alejandro, so I'm currently a student at Seton Hall University. I was looking at the map at the slide, and I see a lot of stars around Jersey, the Northeast area. Question is, how would it work? Is this mainly for after you graduate, or can this be while you're in school, if you can manage it?
So I did both. I'll tell you that you don't have to have a degree to apply. It is a full-time job. And so you would have to just kind of explore whether or not you could do both. I'll tell you, I did both. I was finishing my undergrad at University of Arizona and doing this fellowship, but it depends on workload. And you know, what areas, like a self-evaluation and figuring out like what areas that you're gonna give and take in the different facets of your life. And so it would have to be like, you know, a decision that you make. But yeah, you can do both for sure.
And then just a follow-up question to that, on the previous slides, kind of like the responsibilities or like an overview of what you would do. Would you do like a little bit of everything, or is it just one specific area that you choose to be part of? I don't know if it makes
So
sense.
it's a good question. It is different for every single office. And so what I like to tell people about the Senate is the 100 senators run 100 small businesses. They all run their office very differently. And the connection between their DC office and their state office, there's 100 different ways that that's done too. And so not everybody has the same jobs within each office. And the fellowship, the way that we've been doing it is based off of the office's needs and wants. And so some offices might not want a fellow to work on military and veteran casework, but they might be interested in having a fellow work on health policy. And so that's what they would recruit for. So it just depends. Like the jobs are different in all the offices.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the questions.
I think Christopher had his hand raised.
Yes, I did. Hello, how are you all? Again, it's an honor to be here speaking to all of you. So I just have a quick question. Are there any institutes or programs in Florida? And if there is, how do I become a part of it? And if there isn't, what do I have to do in order to bring that program to Florida? Because if I'm not mistaken, we have one of the top VA hospitals of the nation, and our veteran population is about 2.6 million people, including family and veterans alone.
Yeah, I appreciate that kind of reference and commentary and the stats for sure. But I'll tell you that those factors don't define whether or not a Stars of Valor fellow can be there or not. It's up to the senator. So the program is actually an opt-in situation for the Senate offices. And it's up to them to decide whether or not they have the space, capacity, meaningful work, amount of time left in their tenure, whether or not they're running for reelection, all of these different things like retirements, all of these different things factor into the senator's decision as to whether or not they want to host a fellow. I was going to do a quick search. I can't remember off the top of my head whether or not we have an opening in Florida. I think we do, but I'm just going to verify. Hang on one second. Did you have any follow-up questions though, Christopher, to that?
So if there isn't any leadership since not leadership institute is another thing that I'm part of. I'm sorry. The fellowship. How do I go about opening that availability for us to bring it to Florida? Am I going to have to get in contact directly to government or the senator or?
Nope, not necessary. There's a posting in Florida for Senator Moody in Pensacola, Florida.
Okay, but I don't see a star on the map. So how would I apply or how would I become a part of it?
Yep, it just didn't get updated. That one just got posted on the 17th. And so I will take full responsibility for that star not being there. So thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Lindsay, so much for coming on here, and really glad to have you in Dallas. Kind of start off our final webinar. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks to Student Veterans of America again. You guys are some of my favorite folks. I just really adore your mission and what you're doing for everybody who's trying to figure out what's next. So thanks for having me, and please feel free to reach out if you guys need anything. I'm here.
Thank you.
Bye.
Alrighty, we're gonna get the rest of this kicked off. So strap in. We have a lot of information Faisal and I are gonna cover. I'm gonna go ahead and spotlight the both of us so we don't have to keep going back and forth. So, agenda for today. As you can see, we have a long laundry list there. But all this is to say, and Faisal, if you want to start the animation, we want to make sure that you are ready to be in here in DC, that you're going to get smart and know what you're talking about as far as SBA's talking points and how to integrate that into your lived experience. And you're going to show up strong and you're going to extend the impact past next week back into your communities. You're going to share with them what you did here. You're going to share on your social media while you're here, and just really help us spread the word of what Washington Week is all about, your experience here, and then sharing that experience with others. So we have some updates to the schedule of events. If you haven't been able to check out the Washington Week website, but I'm going to go over this really quickly. Monday and Wednesday, for the most part, those are the Inform the Hill days. You might have received an email or will receive an email from Faisal and I, which we'll later discuss about that. But those are those 2 days where we have dedicated for you to have meetings with your members of staff. All while SBA headquarters will be open for you to stop by and say hello. Tuesday is our busy day. So we have Coffee and Connection here at SBA headquarters for about an hour before you all make your migration up to the Senate offices. Just to let you know and give you a heads up, there will be no SBA provided transportation from the SBA headquarters to the Dirkston office. So I highly recommend you make friends and maybe share at Uber or become familiar with the Metro. SBA headquarters is about a block away from Metro Square. Then you can take that up to Union Station, and then Union Station is about 3 blocks away from the Dirkston building. And then we have our hearing and our advocacy in action. So we have 11 to 1 o'clock there. The reason we say that is because the panel 1 for the VFW does start at 10. Now, we will not be allowed in that room until panel 2 begins, until they do that swap out. We say 11 is because that's usually the average time for the panel 1 to complete. Watching the joint hearing today, that's exactly what happened. About 11:10, they finished with panel 1 and moved very quickly, I will say very quickly, on to panel 2. We do have some individuals that will be staged in the room to be able to save some seats for all of the SBA attendees that are coming to Washington Week for that hearing. So we are the largest group that will be in that panel too. So we're going to try to save as many seats as possible. And we ask you to arrive there by 11. Now, also be advised, you have to go through a metal detector like you do at the airport. So later on, we talk about some do's and don'ts of what not to bring. I will say I drove past the Capitol this morning at 8:30. And those lines, I swear, at every Senate entrance were like 20, 30 people deep. That's why we're giving you an ample amount of time, that 90 minutes from the coffee to the hearing, that's plenty of time to get up there. And then after that, we will all be transitioning over to lunch, which will be at TikTok headquarters following the hearing. Again, it's not directly around the Capitol Hill area. It is a little bit of a distance. It's about 1.5 miles. So depending if you're feeling up to walking, or again, Union Station is right there. NOMA, where TikTok headquarters is 1 stop away. Or again, make friends and maybe share a ride. So as you come in here, again, as you come to DC, become very familiar with Metro and Metro buses, taxis, share ride. Also, yep, somebody just asked about parking. Parking up on the hill, I would recommend Union Station, although they've been doing some construction up there in their garages, and I think they have limited parking. It's not as robust as it has been in the past. But there are some hotels in that area that often have some type of garage attached to them. And walking and wheeling, we do have our rideshare bikes. We do have little scooters here in the district, so just be mindful and safe. Where to stay? Hope you all had the opportunity to go ahead and connect to your lodging. SBA doesn't have a specific block or a hotel that we recommend. Whichever one fits within your budget. We recommend that if you do look for lodging outside the Beltway, or even if you're in the Georgetown or North DC area, just to keep in mind you're transiting back and forth between downtown and Capitol Hill. So maybe a metro, someplace close to a metro stop would work for you. And then what to wear? We have some casual ideas here, business casual, business professional. For the most part, traveling to and from DC, wear what makes you comfortable. We recommend business casual for the headquarters open houses, if that's something that you're going to come by and say hello. But really Tuesday and any Hill meetings that you have, we recommend business professional dress. All right, I'll pass it over to Faisal.
Thank you, Tammy. Yeah, so pretty much, I hope everyone's has had the opportunity to schedule your meetings. If not, we're gonna do a little brief refresher. To figure out who your member of Congress is, click the first link right there. It'll ask you to put your zip code, your address, and it'll bring up your representatives for your district as well as your senators for your state. Now, whether or not you have a meeting already, click the link. It will take you to a Google page, and look for your representative under your state. See if there has been a meeting scheduled already, and if there is, great, and you want to join, reach out to the person listed as the POC, your point of contact. If there isn't, feel free to go ahead and schedule a meeting, reach out to the office, and proceed to scheduling a meeting. And if you get one, fill in that Google Sheet. Now, for everyone that has filled the Google Sheet so far, if you have a meeting with your representative, kindly ask that you put your phone number or email in the notes section, just in case that someone wants to join your meeting. Even though you have your name in the document as you'll be meeting with them, others won't be able to get in contact with you. So please put your email address or phone number, whatever makes you most comfortable, so others can reach out and reach out to you to join your meetings. Now, if you want to figure out how to reach out to your member of Congress, there are two links there, one for the Senate, one for the House. If you have trouble reaching out to them, either by phone or email, please reach out to us and we can help you with that. On the next slide, I provided an email template. Email template here. Oh, there. Where you could feel free to edit as you wish. Pretty much stating that you'll be in DC for our Washington week and would love to schedule a meeting on March 2nd or March 4th to talk about SBA's talking points for our Washington week. Now, on these two slides here, this is an example, the state of Alabama. At the very end of the note section, if you were able to schedule a meeting with one of these members, put your name, fill in the information. An example here, there are some meetings that SBA has already had some meeting slots dedicated to, and you will see something like this on the screen. We'll ask you to contact Tammy or I, and the Google link is currently updated with all the meetings. So if you are a constituent of that state, please reach out. These are some of the meetings that SBA we have already had meetings with scheduled throughout Washington week. Again, if you are a constituent of one of these members in their district or their state, please reach out. We are trying to prevent a scenario where we have 6 meetings with the same representative. Again, if you know that these are one of your members, please reach out to us and we'll make sure everyone is there accordingly at the proper time to all meet at once and take one giant group photo. Now, getting prepared. You got to research. Do your research. Again, figure out who your member is. And in the next following slides, I'll pretty much show you how to figure out what committees they're a part of, their voting history, what bills that member has sponsored, and you can also sign up for alerts and learn more about the bills, just exploring around. Congress.gov is a maze. So the slide deck, this presentation will be a way to help you navigate. Our talking points this year, we'll be focusing on the four on the screen here. HR 1965, 5965, 6011, and 6258. Now, the importance of research is because if you luckily get a meeting with a member or their staff, then you don't want to go in and tell them to support a bill when they've already sponsored it or co-sponsored it. You would want to use your time wisely instead to thank them. So just doing some initial background research, navigating Congress.gov will be a great way to do that. Now, again, we're going to do a little walkthrough. Find my member, enter my zip code, my address, and right now my member is Representative Connolly, as well as Senator Tim Kaine, as well as Senator Mark Warner. I'm going to click on my representative's name, take me to his page on Congress.gov. By clicking the box on the right, it could take me to his page to see what committee assignments he has. And this is his page. Scrolling a little bit down, you can see that he's part of the Committee of Foreign Affairs, as well as Committee on Oversight and Governmental Reform. Scrolling a little bit further down, you can also see what bills he's voted in support or against of. Now, going out to the committee, you can click the link, go to Google. Again, he was part of the Committee on Oversight and Reform. Googled it, went to the link. Here's the page for the Committee on Oversight and Reform. Now, I want to learn a little bit more. Who else is on this committee? Clicking at the top or wherever on the page, click the full committee list, or I want to explore what subcommittees this committee has. Here's the list at the top. Clicking the full committee list, I see that Representative Connolly, he's a ranking member for this committee. Now, kind of going back to sponsorships and co-sponsorships, going on Congress.gov, if you're interested in a particular bill, you can enter it here, or you can navigate Congress.gov by going through the members. On the screen here, I'm just curious to see what Representative Mike Levin has done. Here's Mike Levin. I'll click his page. And then again, you'll see the very familiar page. On the right, you can see what committees by clicking that. Or if you scroll a little bit further down, you can see the member activity. Now, on the left side of the page, there's several different filters. Now, you can see what bills he's sponsored, what bills he's co-sponsored, and also what congressional session. So I want to see what bills he's I already said that. I want to see what bills he's sponsored. There's a lot. He sponsored 101 bills across all these terms, but I want to narrow things down. I want to focus on the 119th Congress. So far, he's sponsored 3 pieces of legislation. Let's see. At the top, HR 1012. That's the first thing that comes up, and there's a little bit further down as well. Again, the results on the screen are reflecting the filters that I selected. So, Mike Levin, Representative Mike Levin, I want to learn about what pieces of legislation he sponsored in the 119th Congress. Clicking on the left side, if I want to see what bills he's co-sponsored, I would change the filter again, and it will refresh the page accordingly. So here, co-sponsored legislation will fill up on the screen here. So, words, numbers, letters, what am I looking at? Here, this is the respective bill, HR 1106, to amend America Competes Act, so on and so forth. Here's the bill number, House Resolution or Senate vote number if you are clicking a senator. This is the session of Congress that was introduced in. The name of the bill. Some bills are currently are like this. They don't have a name yet. They're just talking about the purpose of the bill, and then once the bill moves further, it will then be established with a name. Brief purpose, the sponsor of the bill, how many co-sponsors, committee it's currently in, the latest action of the bill, so you can see whether it's introduced, has passed the House, it passed the Senate, so on and so forth. So I'm going to click this, and here's a little visual tracker as well. So I'm going to click it, showing the same information. On the right side, a question you'll often be asked on the Hill in support or denial of a bill is, how much does the bill cost? And on this page here, you'll see something, the CBO cost estimate bill. pretty much this is how much that bill will cost. A CBO score is also the other term. A CBO score, CBO cost. It isn't really provided until the bill moves a little bit further. So right here, there's no CBO score attached with this bill. You scroll a little bit down. Sorry. You'll see the ability to see the bill text as well as the summary. The actions will reflect what is showing at the top of the visual tracker. You can see whether or not it's been on the vote or not. It's been voted on. You can see if there's been any amendments, the list of co-sponsors, committees. And just a brief example I don't have on the screen here. For anyone, we've been talking a lot about HR 1965, the Book Stipend Educational Supply Adjustment Bill. If you click on there now, you'll see that in about 30 minutes, it'll be under a markup. So when you look up the bill on congress.gov, go to its page, and you will see actions. You will see today's hearing, today's markup listed there. Now, again, if you have any questions navigating the maze that is congress.gov, please feel free to reach out. This is a very good starting line, and then I will transition to Tammy for the talking points. Unmuted.
Of course I am. If you could do me one quick favor and go back 2 slides. Right there. And then if you could run your mouse over where it says gets alert. So right below the name of the bill or its current title, you'll see a little link there. It says get alerts. So when you go on congress.gov, you can start a congress.gov account. And by setting up alerts, you can set up bill alerts, you could send member alerts, you could send committee alerts. And what that will do is it will just send you any information if that bill just happens to move to a hearing or to a markup or to the floor. It will alert you in an email with that. Same thing with the members. When you set up alerts for the member, it will alert you if they co-sponsor a bill or sponsor a new bill. Any activity they have going on in the committee, same thing. So if you feel this is something that after Washington Week, you want to continue movement and knowledge and educate yourself, that this is all really interesting to you, I highly recommend setting up a congress.gov account. I have one, it goes to a specific folder. All right, SBA's talking points for 2026. So if this is your first time with SBA at Washington Week, these obviously look new, but if this is your second or third year, they may seem a little familiar, with the exception of one. So talking points, Faisal had mentioned the book adjustment, book and supply adjustment. We have a pilot program and then VA work study reform. So once you come to Washington Week, if you stop by the office, you'll be able to get a little sheet that's going to have these talking points and a little note section. If you bump into Faisal and I while we're up on the Hill, by the way, download the SBA app. I believe it's going to hit either Saturday or Sunday, because that will give you some alerts when Faisal and I have some free time and where on the Hill we are, if we're in one of the coffee shops or the cafeterias and you want to stop by and have someone one-on-one. And we will have these extra talking points with us. So just rest assured, there'll also be a digital version that you could download here in the next day or two. So we want to try to prepare you all and give you these tools to help as we talk here in the next few minutes about how to engage in your lived experience in that. So some talking points with the book and education supply stipend. As you see here, it's been unchanged since 2009. It's been $1,000. We added some data that thank you to those who participated in our survey last year. And we're also looking into asking for maybe creating an additional stipend specifically for STEM and JD degrees. So we're asking Congress, if you're on the House side, to co-sponsor and pass HR 1965, which is this bill. If you're on the Senate side, we're looking for introduction of a companion bill. All right. The CVES grants, Centers of Excellence for Veteran Student Success. This was a grant that was funded on and off by appropriations since 2015. Many institutions have had the opportunity to receive this $500,000 grant over 3 years and have been able to do amazing things with their veteran and military family centers. So in the last 2 years, it hasn't been funded or appropriated. So Representative Frankel and Representative Bilirakis, so has bipartisan right out of the gate, have introduced this piece of legislation as a pilot program for the grant. So again, if you're talking to a representative, their co-sponsorship and support for HR 6558. If you're on the Senate side, introduction of the companion bill. And lastly, VA work study reform. By a quick reaction, how many of you here in the room are part of VA work study? All right, we got a few. Yeah, so you all know how valuable this program is, and you all know how daunting this program can be. From the application process to your timesheets to job duties, sometimes it just doesn't fit in with what you are pursuing after your degree. And we want to ensure that the VA work study modernizes and reforms to what student veterans and military students are utilizing it for. So we have 2 pieces of legislation, HR 5965 and HR 6011. These will expand work study eligibility to those that are at least half-time or more. Also bring on pay parity, electronic timekeeping, and expand the types of activities and sponsorship positions, really trying to bring it into the students' goals while they're pursuing their education. So as you talk to your members of the House, co-sponsorship and passing of 5965 or 6011. If you're talking to any senators, again, introduction of these 2 pieces of legislation. And just a real tidbit before we click on, like Faisal mentioned, try to do your homework beforehand. Look for these 4 pieces of legislation before you go into these offices. And let's say your member's already supporting it, then say thank you and ask them to share that out with other members of how important this is. Over to you, Faisal.
Thank you, Jamie. So again, you're gonna go in, hopefully having a meeting. If not, nothing stopping you from walking in. But with that, it's important to have an elevator pitch ready. Again, very spoken. It is a spoken elevator pitch and brief format. Introduction. Hi, my name is Faisal Solomon. I am from Virginia. I attended University of Richmond, and I'm looking to speak with my member, Senator Tim Kaine. And I am currently experiencing rising book cost, and I cannot afford college, and I do not want to take loans. It would be great if you could introduce HR 1965 in the Senate and get more people to sponsor it so that the book stipend can be adjusted and we don't have to come back and ask for more money next year. So again, little brief format introduction, the issue, how can the problem be solved, and then a call to action. You could always make this to a one-pager to make this easier, but in the brief few minutes that you have, spoken is always easiest. It's very similar. Quick little exercise. I see that we have some VFW SBA legislative fellows in the chat in the room. If you're able to unmute your mic, would you be able to give an example of this elevator pitch? If not, it's okay.
Hi.
Hi, Kimmy. No pressure.
Do you want me to do my elevator
Do your
pitch?
spiel. Yeah. You can call me Senator Faisal Solman of the state of District of Columbia. Why not?
Oh, wow. Okay. I will do my 1 minute elevator pitch. Senator what?
Hi.
Faisal Solman.
Yep.
My name is Kimmy Kim. I am a veteran student at Vanguard University. I am a IO psychology major studying grad program, currently using the post 9/11 GI Bill book stipend, which has not paid fully my books in my academic year because it has been remaining $1,000 since 2009, despite the rising cost of textbooks and materials, which have increased significantly. I believe that it should be adjusted to 1,400 to tie future adjustments to the consumer price index. Could you please support the bill so that I can afford textbooks and achieve long-term career success without financial strains?
Yeah, I'll
Thank
take it.
you.
I'll take it my staff and we'll chat it over. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. How do I mute myself? Okay.
I'm muted. Okay,
Okay.
so as everyone's coming into Washington next week, Washington Week, you'll most likely be seeing some of our VFWSA legislative fellows. Kim is one of them. And their primary purpose this year is to be talking about HR 1965. So feel free to chat. You saw them in NatCon. You'll see them once again. Let's get this thing passed and introduced in the Senate. All right. Again, here's a little template format of how to do this. You can adapt this format to pretty much any bill. Just make sure that you highlight the main issue that bill is trying to tackle. And these issues have all the psychology points, so you can use that as reference as well. Now, once you're on the Hill, it's important to communicate effectively. So you don't necessarily want to stutter as much as I do on this presentation. So get to the point quickly. Congressional leaders, they know how to go through a topic, dissect it, and evaluate it very quickly. Your introduction, again, should be something very brief, elevator pitch style, shouldn't take longer than a minute. Your research is critical here. Say, for example, you are talking to a senator or a member of the House, and they have never served in our forces. They're not a veteran. They have absolutely no idea what the GI Bill is. And you may want to bring that information to them. However, if they do know what the GI Bill is already, they know what the book stipend is already, you may not necessarily want to dedicate time in your elevator pitch to do so. So a little bit of research, making your time more efficiently, and then also saving their time as well if you get the opportunity to chat with them. And in the words of the wise Maureen Elias, be brief, be brilliant, and be line. So as you are all making your meetings for the next week, what if you get stuck with the staffer? That's okay. Honestly, it's great. Staffers are usually the one doing the work anyway, and if you can convince the staffer to get their attention to support this bill, whatever bill you're talking about, then it's going to be worth their time and attention to most likely convince their boss, aka the member of the House or the Senate, to support it. Any questions that they ask, answer it. If you don't know, say you don't know. Do not lie. They will smoke you out immediately. And before you take any photos or just things of the sort, please ask permission. And if you do post it, ask permission again. Obviously, your congressional members would love the PR, and posting a photo of them in bad light is not the best way to win their favor. So again, ask for permission. As we mentioned, getting into these buildings on the House and Senate side, It's like going through airport security. Make sure you have your meeting confirmed. Follow with the email, follow the phone call, do whatever you need to do to make sure you have it confirmed. And once you do have it confirmed, fill out the Google link, please. Thank you. And also list your information so other people can contact you. Now, Tammy mentioned earlier that the lines around the House and Senate, they're like 30 plus people long. Get there early. You have an hour and a half from our coffee and pastries to get over to the Senate for the hearing. But on Monday and Wednesday, you're on your own. So make sure you get there early for your meeting, as other hearings may be also going on at the same time. On the screen here, these are the listed items that you should not bring. If you are wearing a belt, they will make you take it off and put it back on. For the ladies that are wearing, or anyone that's wearing heels, sometimes they may ask you to take off your shoes. Just be mindful that security is a process, and just don't bring anything, honestly. Just go in with just your wallet or your folder. That'll be very good. At your meetings, walk to the office, introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Faisal. I'm here to chat with Senator Tim Kaine. I have a meeting with them scheduled in 5 minutes. Introduce yourselves, exchange business cards, and then go into your talking points. Tell them why you're there, what you're there to talk about. Again, you may only have a few minutes with them or the staffer, but make sure you practice. Practice. Establish a game plan. Figure out what you want to talk about. Of the 4 pieces of legislation, of the 3 topics, whatever's best suited for you, whatever you're most comfortable with, talk about that. Whenever you leave your business card, follow up with an email with the staffer, take their business card, thank them for their time. And in the scenario that you may not be able to get a meeting with them, just pop in, grab a business card with the staffer, and then follow with an email. Hi, in a week or 2, can we set up a virtual meeting and chat about this? They'll be more than gladly able to do that. So, again, on the House and the Senate, there are multiple buildings, and it's very easy to get lost. On this slide here, it is the number protocol of each of these buildings. They are very different. In the Russell Senate, on the Senate side, you have the Russell, Dirksen, and Hart building, and the first digit is the number of the floor you're in. So, for example, if you're in the Hart building and you have a building room office in 709, it is on the 7th floor. Now, on the House side, you have the Rayburn, Longworth, and Cannon building. And I went too far. Thank you. On the House side, you have the Rayburn, Longworth, and Cannon building. And in the Rayburn, the 2nd floor is located by the 2nd digit. And again, here's the numbering system and examples. I'm not going to run through that first slide. Again, communication marketing. We've talked about giving an elevator pitch, using, taking photos and using social medias to tell your story. It is your time. It is your time to tell your story, and your story is important. But we all kind of want to make sure that we're all looking at the talking points you mentioned earlier. And if you are to post this on the socials, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever, and tag your legislators, make sure you use appropriate hashtags. SVA's hashtags, we always use hashtag USVA or hashtag SVA leads. Make sure that if you're taking photos, again, ask for permission. Make sure things are centered. You have good lighting. Make sure your camera lenses are clear and not smudged. You don't want a straight fingerprint on the camera. If you're taking any videos, make sure you have audio that's clear. It's not too loud. Depending on your office, sometimes they may have your meetings done in the hallway because of space. You may not have the most success in taking video there, but photos would be appropriate. Again, just a final reminder. Again, this is your time to share your story, share your lived experiences with your members of Congress, and it's important you believe in it. And, going through those talking points, it's always easiest if you can speak with it like through your heart. If you could really relate to a particular message, if you could really resonate with the book stipend, or being involved in the VA Work Study program, or you've seen the success of having a student veteran center on your campus, talk about that. Your members are gonna love it. And again, just believe in yourself. You got this. And I will hand it over to our contact page, which you can reach us if anyone has any questions about anything about the slides. For email, if you're having troubles getting in contact with your member office, give them a day or two, and then reach out to us. And Amy, is there anything else I'm missing here?
I just wanted to add, for your elevator pitch, practice, practice, practice. We often mentor the fellows by saying, go ahead and audio record yourself or video record yourself. Also with the Google Doc, we highly recommend you utilize that and you connect with each other before you go into these meetings. That way, if you have someone who is a VA work study and they feel more comfortable talking about that talking point, kind of like create a little lineup for your meeting. So you have someone talking about work study because that's what they do. Or you have someone that's a STEM degree that just put out another $2,000 annually for their equipment. Have them talk about the book stipend adjustment. Or if you, again, like Faisal said, the power of having a veteran and military family center on campus has done so much for your self-worth and your confidence and has like set you up for the next career. Like that would be a good talking point for you to do. So kind of get with each other beforehand, communicate as much as possible and as you feel comfortable. Also keep that in mind. Maybe some individuals don't feel comfortable sharing out their email or cell phone number. We completely understand, but just try to be as prepared. Take this last week, these last 6 days, to be as prepared as much as possible. So good question, Georgia. I see, or Rio. You will see the 2026 policy pamphlets hitting the SBA website here shortly. Honestly, our policy priorities don't really sway too much from year to year. We make them broad for that reason. So if you see something in there specifically, maybe you want to talk about how data is really important. SBA had the opportunity to testify before the Maryland Senate a few weeks ago because we feel that data collection for student parents is really important because that will help grow grants and programs for those who need childcare. So if that's something that you think is important to you and you have a lived experience and you want to share that, go right ahead. It aligns with our policy priorities. Anybody have any questions? I don't think I've seen any hands raised. Like I mentioned earlier on, this slide deck in PDF form and today's webinar will be sent to you here by the end of the day. That way you can go back and take your time and pull out some of those nuggets of information. Well, Faisal, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
Nope. Just get your meetings done, scheduled, fill out the Google link, reach out to us if you have any questions. You have a question, Alejandro?
So you said mainly, so for Monday and Wednesday, we'll be on our own. Let's say one of those days we can't get with either a representative or possibly like staff member. What do we do from there? Like, what do you recommend? What do you suggest?
Yeah, so let's say, you've reached out to all 3 members, your representative, your 2 senators, you can't get a meeting with anybody. That's where Faisal had talked about dropping in. We call it a pop in or drop in. Feel free to stop by their office and introduce yourself. Say, hi, my name is Alejandro. Let them know what school you're from. I'm curious to see if the staffer that has the portfolio of veteran affairs or higher education is available for a quick chat. The person working the desk will let you know if that's possible. If that's not possible, ask for the card and then follow up with that individual lately. Be like, hey, I stopped by the office while I was here for SBA's Washington Week. Sorry, our paths couldn't cross. I would love to get a virtual call on the books if possible. We have some really important things we want to share with you. And if you do get them for like 5 minutes, you know, you already practice that elevator pitch, so you'll have them for 1 minute and you can tell them what it's all about.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. And keep in mind, you are their constituent. You are the ones back in their districts and their states. They want to hear your lived experience, those barriers and challenges you're facing, those good things that are going on. All right.
Thank you, everyone. See you all next week. Bye.
And so the last question in the chat about
Thank you.
tours of the White House, the Supreme Court, it may be a little too late for a White House tour. If you go on the Capitol Tours website, they do have a listing and you can see if they have any slots available. But yes, that's something you can also ask your congressional office to see if they can help you out scheduling anything. I look forward to seeing you all.
Tammy,
you.
can I ask you a question real quick? That's more
Sure.
specific. Also, hi. My outfit is giving waiter.
Do you want me to stop the recording or is this more general?
Oh, it's just, I mean, it's slightly specific, but it's general. I just realized this morning that my mom is a student veteran. Although I know my mom's a veteran and I know that she's getting her master's. I just made that connection this morning. But I'm from Iowa and my mom lives in Iowa. So if possible to add into my schedule, that would be really cool to be able to go advocate specifically for my mom. Which is also, I don't know why, like I've known this for like a year and never ever put those two together.
Yeah, we can see what we can do. I'll reach out
Yeah.
to the 2 Senate offices. Do you know the district?
District 3.
District 3? Place like you'd
Yeah.
reach out to Iowa District
Yep.
3?
So, sweet. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I was an Iowa resident the whole time I was in the military. But yeah, I just was like, huh, my mom's getting her master's. My mom was in the Navy. That makes her a student veteran at the same time as me. Sweet. Thank you guys. That was it.
Yeah, no problem.
And then I'm going to send you guys my elevator pitch video tomorrow morning. I just have a full schedule today because I made myself important on accident. But I can't wait to see you guys.
Your importance is not by accident.
Yeah, that's true. So I have a bunch of like board of trustees stuff today. So hence the waiter outfit. So, but I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Yeah. See you
Awesome.
then.
Bye.
Bye.